Sublime magnificence.
Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent big ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host and runner-mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Thank you, Omari. Thank you for having me. As always, I love being here. I love doing this where we share these things back and forth, be it movies, be it TV shows, be it other documentaries, be it sports things. One day I'm gonna get music performance on this thing.
Make us lose control.
I love doing this thing. It's like a book club where you share things back and forth. I recommend people do it as well. You don't have to record it. You just have to do it, then talk to your friends about the thing that you guys just watched or read or listened to. It's the same concept. Omari.
Yes, sir.
I brought a thing to you today.
That you did. What did you bring to us this week?
I have brought to you the film Deep Impact from 1998. A comet is discovered to be on a collision course with Earth. As doomsday nears, the human race prepares for the worst. If that sounds familiar, that's because it does, because we just did Armageddon 2 weeks ago. And these are...
They came out around the same time, right?
These are iconically linked. And so we watched one. I felt like we had to watch the other.
Hey, I get it. And yep, so we watched Deep Impact this week. So I believe you mentioned something along the premise of that's why you made this choice at the end of last week's episode. So I knew to expect a meteor. In this movie. I didn't expect Aerosmith, unlike the other one where I'm expecting a meteor and Aerosmith. This one I'm just expecting a meteor. As to why I hadn't seen it before, it's kind of like Armageddon. Got it mixed up with another movie and just never got around to watching it. Like this one, I think I got mixed up with like Deep Blue Sea or whatever it is. The one with LL Cool J, the shark movie.
Yep.
I hear Deep Impact. I get it mixed with the
my
shark.
Head is like a shark fin.
Yeah, deep as fluid. My head is like a shark fin. Yeah, that one. So, and I don't remember liking Deep Blue if I watched it all the way through, but I remember seeing parts and being like, eh. So
Smart sharks.
So yeah, Deep Impact. I'm just like, people are like, you want to watch Deep Impact? If that question ever came up, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Or I would just say, deep as blue, it's my head, it's like a shark fin. They probably say, Omari,
my head is like a shark fin.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they say, that's not the right movie. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, this is, so Armageddon was released July 1st, 1998.
Okay.
Deep Impact was released May 8th, 1998. Oh, so Deep Impact did it first, guys. Deep Impact did it first.
And Armageddon
said hold my beer. Deep Impact grossed $349 million worldwide. Armageddon grossed $553 million worldwide. So Armageddon was the winner in the box office race. But this film wasn't. It's so it's so interesting how a movie can be so the same, but so different. And so I thought that would be very interesting to.
I was looking forward to
break
see
down and see what your thought process was.
I was looking forward to seeing what they did differently or what they did the same. So I was like, okay, I at least just got done watching a Meteor movie, so I know the plot points they want to hit. Let's see how this one goes. And getting into it, it was already like a different start. Because Armageddon starts with the explosions, the boom, New York City, say goodbye to the dude and his dog. Bad times, sad times. This one, just some dude. Oh crap, gotta go on the radio. That said, his car crashes and explodes on the side of the road. And it's like, oh, okay. But then we cut to a news lady storyline. And I'm like, so our main character is a news lady instead of an oil rigger. How does she get recruited? Why is she like recruited into the same thing? Well, that because I'm expecting like similar beats.
Yeah.
And I was just thrown off early in the movie, just like, oh no, we got senator cheating on somebody, and turns out it might be the president cheating on somebody, and then the Secret Service shows up, making you think that this is the plot. Like, oh shit, we'll get killed. But the second Morgan Freeman comes in, and I'm like, yeah. Oh, one thing I want to say: this movie has a lot of cast members. Like Armageddon, a lot of cast members with familiar names and familiar faces. This movie has a lot of familiar faces. It's so many actors in this movie where I'm like, it's that guy. And I don't know that guy's name. And that's like what this cast is filled with. And,
Yeah.
so that was a overall difference immediately. Like, okay, this is a
Even
film.
down to the smallest detail, Amari. The family picture that is so important to our grizzled old captain later in the movie, his wife in that photo. Did you happen to notice that that was Cersei Lannister?
I did not.
That's how deep this goes.
Deep impact. So, but yeah, so it was weird just early on because I'm like, what is this? But the second Morgan Freeman comes in, first off, I'm like, Morgan Freeman. I know Morgan Freeman when I see that man. And I'm like, okay, what's he talking about? The second he says ELE instead of Ellie, I'm like, okay, clearly this isn't a cheating thing. And I thought he would pick up that she didn't know what he was talking about, but he's like, nah, have her come and talk on the news anyway. And to answer the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And as quiet as it is, it's a pretty quiet start. And then we get to the press conference where he tells everybody the meteor's coming, but we got a plan, we got a team. They're gonna go up there, they're gonna blow it up. We named the meteor Wolf Biederman.
Off of the two dead astrologists.
They're gonna name it Wolf Biederman. And I'm like, I kind of like Dottie better. It rolls off the tongue a bit easier. Or you
Yeah.
pick one. You pick one and call it Wolf, or you call it Biederman. Wolf Biederman is just weird. Like, oh no, the deadly Wolf Biederman is coming for you. Ooh, that's like a character in like a Looney Tunes wannabe thing. Here's that dastardly Wolf Biederman. Like type shit. But nonetheless, Wolf Biederman's coming toward Earth. 500 billion tons is how much this asteroid weighs. I think the Armageddon one was what, the size of Texas or something?
The size of Texas.
This one's the size of New York City, but 500 billion tons. Also, I didn't look at the credits. Is that Elijah Wood in this movie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do my normal thing. But I forgot to do that part, but it is directed by Mimi Letter. It is written by Bruce Joel Rubin and Michael Tolkien, and it stars Robert Duvall, Taya Leone and Elijah Wood, but of course it also has, as the president of the United States, Morgan Freeman, um, and a bunch of other people, a bunch of other people.
Yeah. So yeah, the movie moves pretty fast early on. We see our little team, Robert Duvall and others, and they have like almost the exact opposite dynamic of our oil rigger team from before, where it was the old captain dude and his crew of super loyal, we follow you to the end, Captain, we're here, ride or die type stuff. That was that one. Like, let's get behind the old man. Yeah. This one is fuck you, old man. You don't fucking belong here. Who cares if you landed on the moon, motherfucker? We actually did this shit. So, it was immediately a different dynamic in between like the teams. And for these movies to come out like a month apart, for their plot lines to be like that similar, even though it is different enough. We had the news lady and the Focus and Frodo over here. And then we got I mean, this one is Elijah Wood, great actor, but yeah, we got him over here, and we also got the captain team going. I'm like, so are we about to shift focus to them? But we kind of have like three groups of protagonists in the movie or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah, maybe even four if you consider Morgan Freeman. But he in all he has he doesn't have much screen time. But
he commands.
my
That man can
God,
give a fucking speech.
it's Morgan Freeman addressing America as the president of the United States in probably the worst fictitious time you could ever imagine having to give different series of addresses to your fictitious nation as a fictitious president. And I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine I couldn't imagine a better person to be my president in those moments than Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, and he is so like encouraging in each of his speeches. Is just like, we will do this, but nothing will change. There will be no riotings. You will pay your bills. You will go to work on time. No one will
Yeah.
raise wages. No one will raise prices.
I like
No one
those
will do
speeches
so and
as like
so.
statements of facts.
Yeah, just
This will happen.
yes. We will go up there and we will destroy it, and life will continue.
Yeah.
And
I will
so,
say, as an adult viewing this movie throughout its process, I keep telling myself that, oh, that's the one thing that they're missing from this scenario is all the fucking assholes that are
yeah,
causing a world of chaos that they're not really depicting right now in this moment.
yeah.
But that's me as a jaded adult at this point.
But real life, we don't have Morgan Freeman telling us that this is the way things will go and that life will be perfectly fine. There will be no things. And so, and I could see especially given the scenario, people not breaking out after the first speech. I thought it was funny because the Biederman turns out to be Elijah Wood. He didn't die. He gets some hometown fame. Fucking random teenager in the audience. You're gonna have a lot of more sex now. Like, okay, sure. Oh, I almost forgot. What's her name? When she hears ELE, she goes home and looks it up before the press conference. Finds out it's extinction level event, or at least that's the only thing she can find it standing for. But she has to meet up with her dad and her new stepmom, and she decides because she read those words online that she's just gonna be a dick to them both. And she's like, "It's not even anything about you.
I mean, she was likely going to be a dick to both of them, even if she was still investigating a philandry plot, because she basically just hates her father. Um, and isn't down with him getting a bride that's her age, that kind of
yeah,
that whole thing.
yeah." But
Um,
well, there is that aspect. But I guess my thing was when she started like fucking laughing and losing it when she said, "Well, we live and learn. We'll live to do whatever. Haha, live tomorrow. Oh, there's always tomorrow. Something. There's always tomorrow."
I think the booze is because of what she's thinking about, but she would have been an asshole to them
Yeah.
no matter what. Um, uh, yeah, I have as a grown adult, this is one thing that sometimes makes me hard to invest in a character is when they're this old and so into their mommy and daddy so much, and their mommy and daddy is still affecting their like day-to-day life and emotions, like, and like, yeah, being concerned about your dad, like, you could think it's gross, but like having it be one of your main character traits is
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a dated concept or just something that happens that I'm just not that into, but it's real. It's something that maybe real people go through. Um,
Yeah.
I'm not so into it.
Yeah. I can't. It also, I guess, the only defense I can come from it, or the only other angle I can see it from, is people whose parents divorced as adults as opposed to divorcing as a child.
Yeah,
My parents divorced when I was young.
same.
So any I've had far more time to get over that than, let's say, if dude divorced as an adult. Because I have had a friend that I've seen since I've known them. We were adults since I've known them in our adult lives. Their parents divorced, and for a while that really messed them up, and like how they saw things and one parent or the other. I do feel like they're over it by now, but it has been
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
mean,
years. But that's the only thing I can think of is
yeah.
the degree
I'm
of
not
your
saying that
life
you
that's
can't
been
be
shattered.
affected by it, but like, yeah, just having it be your identity and like carrying a burden of like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. And again, that's my only argument is recency to when it broke, when it happened. That's my only thing I can think of because I'm with
yeah.
you. But yeah, so end of the day, we get to them going to space. I'm like, damn, they're in space all the fuck ready. They got up there real quick. They're just
Mhm.
going to the thing. And what's her name
Well,
gets to be,
we've also been hit a lot more with I would say, it's an unknown thing, but I would say this movie is taking it a lot more realism
yeah,
than Armageddon that we watched 2 weeks ago. Even beyond sending oil drillers up into space, it's like, no, we've known about this for a year more. We've been preparing for it. Like,
yeah.
this is explaining that we're uniting these different nations, and we've been building the spaceship up there, and
And they were building it in orbit, the
space
Messiah.
travel takes time, like weeks, days, months. Uh Armageddon, they kind of depict
It's like
launch asteroid events, Ben Affleck coming back home and hugging Liv Tyler as like
all within the same
16
day.
hours.
Yeah, it's all within the same day.
Yeah.
And with this one, you're right. They do depict time a bit more realistically. Like you said, we known about this for the last year. We there's going to that. We're going to space. We got to do that. They had plans, and they had contingency plans for their plans not happening. But yeah, in space, we get to the thing. We got to blow up the asteroid. We lose a guy because there's our instead of having like gas pocket and the nuke going off and the president telling them to blow shit up early like Armageddon. This time our conflict while on the meteor is the drill is stuck, and if the sun hits it, we'll all like pretty much burn. So we got to fight the clock for the horizon. And I'm like, oh, we're probably gonna lose some people here. Oh, whatever. Especially when the thing gets stuck. I'm like, oh yeah, that dude's dead. That dude's just gonna die to stay with the bomb or whatever.
Yeah.
He has to. He didn't die initially. Instead, it was another guy that got blown up. Favreau.
The architect of the MCU, Omari, John
Favreau.
Favreau, is the
That's
man
why.
who we
That's
lost.
why
Not
I
just
know.
some guy.
No,
Not just some
that's why.
guy.
That's why I was trying so hard to know the name.
We almost lost Iron Man, Omari, if
That's
John
what I
Favreau had
said.
actually been blown off
I
into
said
space.
Favreau before you started yelling architect. I'm like, I know this man's name. I'm like, it's not happy. It's not happy. Favreau. Yes, John Favreau. Yeah, he died.
Yeah. And
the,
then
the hole got
what's our
blinded.
guy's name? What's our guy's name? Ron Eldard is our guy that has the face burns. You folks might know him from Sleepers, Black Hawk Down, Super 8. He's been in he's been working for a real long
He's been
time.
in a long, yeah. But yeah, he gets blinded by the sun because he sees it just
Blinded by the sun.
wrapped up in happiness. Anyway, so they get off the thing in time and they expect off the explosion, but it doesn't work. And I was like, okay, so this is what we're
Knocks
doing.
off a big chunk.
Yeah, knocks off a
And
big.
now
And
now
now
the
we
main
have two.
asteroid and the little chunk are both coming for Earth.
Yeah, they decided to name the little one Biederman and the big chunk Wolf. And they're like, yeah, now they're both coming for Earth. It's okay though. We have a contingency plan. We have missiles, and these missiles will 100% work, but just in case. And this is where the movie starts turning into a different like direction than Armageddon. It's like in the soft limestone caves of Missouri. We've started to dig a series of tunnels. These tunnels will dig and so and so miles. We can only fit 1 million people in there, and that will be our Noah's Ark. And I'm like, this came out of fucking nowhere. What the fuck is this movie now? Now we got the Noah's Ark idea. Okay. And then they're like talking about stuff, and he's like, yeah, the missiles were gonna blow it up, so we're gonna be fine. And so then we go with them talking about the lottery. Who gets to be alive? Old people, if you're not pre-selected, if you're over 50, you're automatically not going to be selected. Kind of messed up, but I guess the whole idea is future of humanity. We want younger people to live into said future. So we get the people saying goodbye, getting ready to die, a lot of like touching scenes. Biederman decides he's gonna propose and marry his love interest so that she and her family can come with him and his family because he's the famous Leo Biederman and he hasn't used his fame yet. So he got this. If he can pull any strings, these are the strings to pull. The strings don't get pulled tight enough, and they only let the wife come, and then he gets separated in a pretty sad scene with the parents and the that whole ordeal. Meanwhile, news anchor chick is dealing with her family. I'm gonna be honest. She has her moments in this movies. I don't like her news anchor parts.
Yeah, so Taya Leone is I don't dislike Taya Leone, but yeah, she's not this Taya Leone would never dream to become a news anchor, in my opinion. At least this version of Taya Leone. She's although it is a very hard first 2 days on the job, um uh uh it's very cold and
the
emotionless
extinction
and
of an event
monotone.
will do so and so, so and so. The Messiah at this time is in the. She sounds like a fucking AI, and I just wish she would have emoted more on the news thing. Not like, guys, I'm sad and tears all in my eyes, cry with me. No, but some kind of modulation to the voice, not just the monotone, polytone
Yeah.
polytonic, a
She's always
polytonic
been
performance,
more subtle, I
but
guess. But
a
yeah,
slightly
it's
more polytonic performance. I think this is the first time I've ever used that phrase to describe a performance. You get what I'm talking about.
yeah.
But yeah, so meanwhile, they got that. We get the space crew. We have a random during this part, we have a random heart to heart with well, first space crew decides we don't have a lot of air, but we're still gonna just go home. Fuck it. We tried. We didn't work. Let's go home. And then we have a
Yeah.
random heart to heart scene with the captain and the blind dude.
Which we've also kind of seen him doodling with something and like doing these numbers, and he's like tinkering with something. Like every time we go into a scene with him with that ship, he's either in the background or it starts or ends with him like working on something that he's not really being vocal about yet.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. That is a good observation. But yeah, they start talking and they get a heart to heart. Now they're cool. And he starts reading a Moby Dick. And they laugh. And it's like, okay, that was kind of a, for me, it was random and out of the blue because I'm not knowing what's left of this movie. I'm like, this is gonna fucking, and you guys just gonna come in and do this. What's happening? We get some drama and that happens. And then
The
with
brothers
Morgan
that
Freeman's,
were at arms
yeah.
that are now friends, like kind
Yeah.
of thing.
But for me, I didn't know whether or not the film needed it at that time.
Right. No, I feel you.
But yeah, so I'm just like, okay, what? And then Morgan Freeman comes out, and I'm not gonna lie, I laughed and had to rewind. It's rude because it's a sad moment, but just the fact that he was so confident when he said the missiles will work, part of me was like, I hope they don't. And so when he came out and he goes, well, the missiles have failed. We're going to all die. First, Wolf is going to hit this, or is hit up here, and then, or Biederman's going to hit this. It will be a wave. It'll kill souls. And then, as he describes the chaos, I'm like, oh, okay, here we go with shit that will be pretty fucking crazy. And then he talks about, and Wolf will hit so shortly afterwards, black out the sky, plant life will die, all animal life die shortly after. God bless us all. Good luck to us all. And he walked away. And I'm like, damn, that was a heavy thing. That would be very heavy news. Like you said, worst time to be receiving news from the president. You just keep hearing, like, we're going to die in a couple months. But don't worry, we got this. We didn't got this. It got worse. But don't worry, we got this. We didn't got this. We're fucked. Good night. Like, oh no. So that's crazy. But then Space Crew gets the idea. Let's sacrifice ourselves to blow up this asteroid. Because at first, because when he said that, I'm like, oh, so this is a movie where they just lose the end. And it's about the for lack of a better phrase, the impact knowing we're all going to die has on society.
Mm.
And
That could have been a route. And like the end of the movie is like them emerging from the bunker in 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that kind of thing. Because
To have a
they
little
had the
bit of
lot.
a
Yeah,
hopeful.
exactly. He said that there would be caves all around the world. They've been working again.
Yeah.
We've known about this for months, so we've been working about this for months. We got similar limestone caves, the soft limestone.
Feels like he kind of gives a little bit of a side jab at some of those other countries, unnaming them, but it's like what the line is something like, and they're populating them however they feel best to continue their own cultures. Just like I don't know, it feels like a side jab of like we don't like how some of them are doing it, but whatever.
That's on them. We're America.
Yeah, because we are doing 200,000 pre-selected I know we talked about it, but I don't know if we had actual proportions. 200,000 pre-selected, and then 800,000 from the general populace. So yeah, it's a big number from the general populace.
Yeah, 1 million people. Just here we go. And like you said, 200,000 were pre-selected, including News Lady and Biederman.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, of course, our main characters are going to be selected to live. But then we get, phase two of this now, where, okay, everybody knows they're fucked. And so they're trying to escape towns and stuff. Biederman decides not to go into the cave. He's going to go back halfway across the country to get his wife.
Yep.
News lady eventually decides I'm not, after her dad comes and shows her some pictures, because her dad tries to talk with her like, hey, I know we're gonna die, can we at least talk? No, which I get it, but I don't, but I do. Like, you guys know you're about to die. But
yeah, I don't love her character through this.
But she's like, okay. She eventually decides, after looking at the pictures and stuff and remembering the moment with her dad and mom that they had, she decides, and seeing this other lady with her daughter that are ready to die in the wave because they're in a city that's on the coast. And this is a giant wave that's moving at the speed of sound and over 100 feet tall or something like that. So she goes to the beach where her dad is to await the end and lets the lady and her kid get on the helicopter instead.
That's great.
That's a good, character move and everything. Let the, life for the future and all that. But yeah, she goes to the beach. Her and her dad finally have their little makeup moment. And they're like, yeah, by the way, if we blow up this thing, because Team Space is like, yeah, we can blow up the big one. The small one's gonna hit you guys. But we want to at least see if we can give you guys a chance, or give humanity a chance to survive, if only the Biederman one hits. So, and I will say, Biederman by itself was a better meteor name. I did think it was silly when it was starting to land and the guy looks out his car. Biederman. But yeah, Biederman. And he goes out there. But yeah, the impact comes. Wave just starts going naturally. Whenever there's a big disaster that's of global proportions, you have to destroy the Statue of Liberty. It just has to happen. New York gets overwhelmed and wiped out. We see her on the beach with her dad. They do one final embrace. They pass. And what's his name? The man who the meteor's named after gets to escape with his wife and turn around and look at the carnage. Which that has to be crazy to know that losing like half the country is named after you. And you lived. Like when you were dead, whatever, they named it after two dead guys. Now they named it after a high school kid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you destroyed New York City. Great job.
And you went public and said that I'm the guy that it's named after.
He's probably gonna have a hard life at times. There's probably gonna be some people that unrightfully blame him.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that is not the name association you want to have.
But the opposite for our 5 astronauts up there. Because my goodness, like at one point she's like, hey, Brightside will have high schools named after us. And I was like, understatement of the century. Like they are immediately the 5 most famous people on Earth. Like there will be cities named after these people. Sections of the globe will worship them as deities, as gods. Religions will be built around these 5 people. They just saved the fucking planet.
Literally, not even like hyperbolically.
Yeah,
no, like
literally.
You saw what the small one did. It got rid of like the eastern seaboard of America. The bigger one definitely would have killed us if it didn't explode. And yeah, they get to have their final goodbyes. Lots of emotional moments there. Poor blind dude, his wife tries to show him his son for the first time, but he can't see. So he has to pretend that he can see because he doesn't
Ugh.
want them to know he can't see. Which black dude who's in a lot of films as well,
Yep.
he's at least there telling him what is, and having like he's holding up a rocket ship. That's mighty good rocket ship you
Blair
got
Underwood.
there. That's Blair Underwood.
That's Blair Underwood.
I don't know why I can never associate the man's name with his face, but
That's
I'm
Blair
highly
Underwood.
familiar. I'm highly familiar with both.
Yep.
Bottom line is, I'm pretty sure this is the second movie we've done with him in it too. Because I'm pretty sure he was in Set It Off. Yeah. Bottom line is whatever Stone Cold says. Sorry, we were talking about wrestling before this, and I just realized I keep saying the bottom line is to go back to whatever we were talking about. We get to the explosion of Wolf itself.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, it does explode. You know, world is saved, and we get to
Yeah.
try
The
and leave
pass
the.
off, the pass off of Lily Sobieski to Elijah Wood by her parents, along with her baby sister, is
That
again
is another.
absolutely heartbreaking. Um, uh, and then their escape up the mountain.
Yeah, as the waves coming behind
Yeah,
them. No, that would be terror. That is a terrifying way to live, and it's one of those things where it's like when it comes to getting washed up in that wave and knowing that you're in that part of the country that's going to be swallowed and you can't escape. Do you try to go to something like the beach like they did? Be like, well, at least when it starts, I ain't gotta wait for it to make its way across the country to me. Just death's coming. But then you gotta worry about drowning to death.
yeah. See, that's the thing is
But
I
do you
don't know
die
what that
instantly?
is. I don't know if that's dying instantly from the impact of the water, like a brick wall, because it could be that a brick wall is coming at you at X
The
amount of
speed of
miles per
sound,
hour.
apparently.
Yeah. So I mean, it was moving fast, but they also didn't get hit by the 500-mile-an-hour wave. They got hit by like a wave.
Yeah.
And then yeah. So I don't know. Like if that's just like, and as you're colliding with things to death, uh, I don't know about that. I don't know about
I
that.
feel like being in a building just toppled on you does the same thing too. And then
Yeah.
you
No,
drown.
that's
Like
true.
either way, but I'm just trying to figure out what's the quick
Either
because the
way, these
drowning part
things
is what scares me the most. Not necessarily the instant boom. It's the drowning part. Primarily because I've
everyone would have been
drowned
known.
before.
Everyone would have had easy knowledge of Biederman's landing location the second it was created. Uh, so many different people beyond the US government would have been able to track that data at that point and figure out that it was going to be landing in the Atlantic Ocean. If you are anywhere on the coast, you're fucking stupid. You're fucking stupid. Like I think that is like I don't know for at one point Jen and I were talking about what like what's our reaction here. It's like I don't know, like we live in Missouri, so I think if we don't get called for the lottery, it's I think we just ride it out here. And then we end up getting miracle saved by the astronauts at the end.
Yeah.
But until that point, it's kind of more of just like a we're hanging out in the house until we die, I guess. I don't know what we do because
Yeah.
we're already in Missouri. There's nowhere else to run. We could get a little bit more rural if
Yeah.
we wanted to.
I think that's the other thing though, when you're making the decision. it's like, okay, when you don't know the astronauts have a plan to miraculously blow it up in the skies yet. Like the Messiah
Right.
already failed and we haven't heard for it in weeks. So when you're at that point, do you choose to die by the wave or move to die by the starvation? Because remember, the other one's supposed to hit, block out the sun. We all starve to death in 4 months because plant life will be dead and we can't breathe or nothing.
Right. So I know he says that there would be no hoarding, but there will be some level of hoarding. You have almost a full year to kind of prepare for the potential of this, depending on how hard you want to go and how hard we would react to it. I don't think Jen and I would react immediately, but there's lots of things you could do of growing different plants that could store in a basement or something like that. If it's nuclear fallout where I'm at in Missouri, um then obviously I'm fucked. But I mean, there's always the potential to live in some sort of scenario. And I mentioned while we were chatting about it that although you don't make it to the government lottery, there's lots of different scenarios that we might have thrown our hat into if with months and months lead up into this. Like, I don't know if we were to luck into realizing that we have an in on a bunker situation through family or friends. Um, my first thought was the second Morgan Freeman starts talking about the soft limestone caves of Missouri, every motherfucker out here is going to start running out to a cave and like stamp a flag on it and be like, my cave. We're all gonna like everybody's gonna try and live in a cave. It's like, well, I'm sure they did more than just that. And then people are gonna be like, no, cave, I'm good. So there's gonna be different levels of that. There will probably be privatized bunkers that people will throw together and build. So our location is great. Beyond that, if we didn't do any of those things, it would probably just be hang out till the end and see what happens kind of thing.
Yeah, I think I'd probably be prefer to hang out because having almost drowned before, big fear of drowning. And I don't think the wave would be instant enough. And I don't want to be drowning and, like you said, bouncing into things and breaking bones in the process.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Probably have an exit strategy at the house. Like, I wouldn't go Taya Leone's mom's route and miss it all together and like do it
Yeah.
before the potential of being saved. Um, but probably having some sort of exit strategy at the house isn't a terrible idea. So that would probably be here one way or another, whether it was pre-owning a gun. Like, yeah, I'd probably have self-defense measures anyway, because like I said, I fully don't believe that we will be this peaceful and
Yeah.
non-violent as this film depicts
Oh no.
the coming moments of the end of the world.
Also true. Considering the closest thing we've had to it in recent times and how not peaceful people were doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are your overall thoughts of the film?
It is B-list Armageddon. Um, it just feels that way with the way it's shot. With the, I don't want to compare the two movies because they are different. They are different enough. Same
But I
premise,
presented them to you in order for you to compare them. So
fair. Um, that said, we are comparing like oranges to tangerines here, where it's similar concept, technically different fruits. That said, I like some of the ideas behind this movie. I like that they went with a different route. The idea of, oh no, this plan is gonna fail. There will be something thing. I kind of wish they would have went the whole way and just said, no, even that doesn't work. Sad ending. Bam. And then you have the two different things. You Armageddon. Yeah, we saved it. The stereotypical summer blockbuster America. Of course, it came out on July 1st. Why wouldn't it? It came. You got that, and then you just have this as the darker tone of, oh no, you think you're getting, yay America, we did this, Independence Day, let's go. But no, like you said, this is realistic, and in the real life the meteor lands. Oh shit. And the more the people keep coming into the realization that they die, and this ended on a bunch of sad but solid notes of the acceptance of the grief, like hug here, Peterman and wife, other people here, all our plot lines. Damn, ain't this sad? Look how sad our fucking movie is. I kind of wish they just went all the way in on that,
Mm-hmm.
because they clearly were trying to get that out of this. Um, but some of the performances, while some of the scenes were good, not a lot of people I thought brought their A game, which is another reason why I'm saying B list Armageddon. Not just because it's quote unquote B list actors. They're far more successful than a lot of y'all out there. But because I don't think a lot of people brought their strongest performances in this. They just kind of, it had a cheaper film. It was lower budget clearly, but it had a low budget feel to it, and it was distracting at times for
Mm-hmm.
someone like me who usually doesn't care about like the vision, oh, this is low budget film, like da, 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 da. But there were times where my eyes were just like, this looks too off.
Yeah.
Overall, though, like I said, had a lot of good qualities. I don't regret watching it, but I'd rather watch Armageddon.
Armageddon's budget was 140 million.
Yeah,
Deep Impact's budget was 75 million. So
yeah,
almost half.
yeah. That's why like it clearly was a lower budget film than that. But sometimes, like older films, you can, oh, this is the style, and just the whole movie is fine, even if it's lower budget. There were moments, I guess, where it juxtapositioned itself enough from the rest of the movie to stand out.
Yeah. Right on. Right on.
But
Well, that
you,
was Deep Impact. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I would echo a lot of those sentiments. It's just kind of like, I don't know, this is kind of the definition almost of like popcorn movie and film. Like Deep Impact is trying to be a film and doesn't fully hit it at times, isn't really great at it all the time. Armageddon is trying to be a popcorn movie that is nailing it 100% of the time as being
yeah,
a fucking popcorn movie. So I feel like that's kind of
that's a
the representation of these two
that's a
films.
great way to put it. I can agree with that.
All right, man. Well, what are we doing next week?
You know what? What are we doing next week? You know what? Keep it yeah. I don't know.
Something
Doing something special.
mysterious.
Oh, mysterious.
Hmm.
mysterious.
I need to
If you
trim that
have
beard.
other questions and other mysteries that we've covered, you can watch Knives Out review that we did. Speaking of mysteries, as well as others. What is going on here? Anyway, you
I'm
can
saying
try
I need to
Knives
trim
Out.
my
You trim your
beard.
beard. Oh, you're just seeing what it looks like with certain amounts trimmed
I
off.
just need to trim it a
Yeah.
little bit.
I yeah, we have other episodes of the show, including a review of Knives Out. Speaking of mysteries, we also have a show on Wednesdays called the Whatever One Podcast that I do with a good friend of mine, a good friend of the show, Super Jazz. He is
Super jazz.
Thank you very much. Nature intended. We talk about just that, whatever we want. We also have a show on Saturdays called You Don't Watch Sports. Two guys, three topics. Help sprinkle a little information into your casual sports conversation and be your guiding light through the sea that is sports talk. And there are also what we call mock draft Mondays, where we draft various things, have a good time. It's pretty fun. It's me and Bill, just like You Don't Watch Sports. This is the two of us. We got some stuff going on there. Maybe some other stuff coming down the pipeline. You will see. We're growing. We're growing. It's happening. I also have a Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in. Stop on by. Yes, sir. Bill, you got anything else you want to say to the folks out there?
Nope.
All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week. The Dark Mysterious Entry. Adios, miss.